views expressed on the following broadcasts do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this show are those of the host, co-host, and guest. Take 12 Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
Get ready for a no-nonsense approach to recovery. It's that guy who's living the dream rather than dreaming of living. You know him as the Addiction Doctor. Now, here's the Monty Man to introduce Dr. Robb Kelly on this episode of Take 12 Recovery Radio's The Robb Kelly Hour.
That's right, my friends. Welcome aboard to this month's episode number 2, actually, of the Robb Kelly Hour, a production of Take 12 Recovery Radio, broadcasting to you and for you via the internet worldwide with nationally known, very opinionated, to the point, doesn't mess around guy, our good friend, Dr. Robb Kelly, the Addiction Doctor. Dr. Kelly, what's going on, brother?
Hey, my man, how you doing? It's good to be here. Hope you're having a great day, guys, out there.
Yeah, so what do you got for us this month, Dr. Robb?
You know, when I get onto your radio show or other radio shows or TV, I usually start coming up with really serious stuff of who's doing something right and who's not, and who's in it for the money and who's not. But, you know, I want to talk to the listeners this week, and I want to talk about things from childhood to where we are today. So I kind of want to go all scientist on your backside, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
With a little tiny bit of psychology in there as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I know all you guys are interested or suffer from alcoholism or interested or family members. So I want to explain this hour how the brain works when you have the addictive brain or alcoholic brain, because it is different to the normal brain. Now, I know straight away people are going to start saying, oh my God, that's not true, that can't be, I've never heard that before. These are the latest findings over the last 5 or 6 years with my research, piggybacking on obviously other people's research. So listen, everybody, remember when you were kids, okay? Remember when you were playing outside? Remember when you wanted to be an astronaut or a firefighter? What happened to them dreams? I'll tell you what happened to them dreams. They were knocked out of you by family, by boyfriends, by girlfriends, by society, and all of a sudden an alcoholic came along and ruined your life. Drug addiction came along and ruined your life. Now you sat there not knowing what direction you've got. You see, alcoholism and alcohol kicks the self-confidence out of you. That's what happens. And them dreams, now listen, them neural pathways leading to them dreams have always been there, and they always will be there. It's about finding them again. It's about finding that ambition that you once used to have. I mean, somebody came to me the other day and said, I'm not too sure whether I could be a therapist or not. My answer was, are you in recovery? Yes. Have you studied the big book? Have you had a spiritual awakening, psychic change? Yes. Therefore, your DNA has changed, correct? Yes. Well, you can do anything in the world that you want to do. That's the bottom line. So, for those guys out there, visualize a basketball court, because quantum physics tells us that we can be up to 25 places at the same time on that basketball court. Wow, 25 places, Monty, at the same time on that court. I was like, oh my God, I love quantum physics. But where would I want to be? Where do you want to be, guys? I want to be over near the goal. So when I get the ball, I slam it in the net, and I'm the hero of the game. And I bet most of you are already thinking, how did we get there? I'll tell you how you get there. You walk over and you take that position. You don't ask for it. You don't beg for it. You walk over and you take that position. You see, what most people don't know in recovery is what you can visualize in your head, you can hold in your hand. What about that start, Monty? How good was that?
Yeah, that's amazing. In fact, this really speaks to something I was telling the guys out at the Adult and Teen Challenge Center last week. I said, listen, you guys all believe that that your creator created you in his image, right? And they go, oh yeah. I said, okay, so if he spoke you into existence, doesn't it just stand to reason that you speak your world into existence too? And we don't we do that? I mean, we can either, and I'm not talking about the prosperity message of, just say it over and over again and a Cadillac will appear. What I'm saying though is, don't we oftentimes through what we speak, the affirmations or the discouraging words that we speak, we actually create our world around us, right?
We do, yeah. And then what happens is, especially alcoholics and addicts, we have what's called internal dialogue. So we have this dialogue that's self-sabotaging. So even though we're saying these affirmations every day, we're talking to God every day, one of the reasons why it doesn't always come off is because we don't really believe it. Today's going to be a great day. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do that. And you end up not doing it. Why? Because you don't believe it. And this thought pattern is lodged in the subconscious brain of the alcoholic and addict. See, and that's stored from childhood. Let me take you back to childhood. Let me give you a scenario of different brains. You've got the alcoholic addicted brain. You've got the normal brain. My brother has the normal brain, Monty. He's good. He can go about things. He's very cool. He can drink, and that's fine. So we are both stood on a kitchen table playing, messing around. My mom walks in, and she says to my brother, because this is what he hears, get down off that chair or that table. You stupid idiot. Get down. Okay?
Yeah.
My addicted brain, through trauma and remapping through the early years, this is what I hear. Same sentence, delivered the same way, but talking to me, this is what I hear. Get out of that table. You stupid idiot. That's what I hear.
Wow.
And what I do through childhood is I carry that into my teens and my adult life. And every time, Monty, that I want to do something, every time I want to get that girl, that house, that car, that voice comes is, get down, you're not good enough. How dare you? Who do you think you are trying to go for this? And we have to start controlling that internal dialogue, because it will store in the subconscious brain. And when will it come along, Monty? Just before that interview, just before that house purchase. And this is what destroys a lot of alcoholics. Internal dialogue and remapping of the brain for distorted, self-sabotaging neural pathways.
I was just going to say, so this is the reason so many people self-sabotage. They have one success after another, and then when they get to that pivotal point where they're going to get that final job, the one they really were going for, they sabotage it and they lose their job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to the childhood coming through the teens. You see, we have to be careful who we're surrounded by. I truly believe, and all you guys out there listening to this across the world, listen, if you're an alcoholic and addict that's recovered, we have an amazing mind. In fact, we have $1 million minds. Stop hanging around 10-cent minds. Because they'll take you down, guys, because that's the kind of brain we have. If you walk into a room, Monty, with a smile on your face, the 10 people in that room are going to smile back. But if you walk in with a frown on your face, 10 people are going to frown back. So we have to get our stuff right first, work on ourselves, make sure that the self-sabotaging talk isn't happening. Like and you'll be really surprised, Monty, how creepy and distorted the self-sabotaging talk is. So I'm writing on my desk, I drop a pen. What do I say to myself? You stupid idiot. No, I'm not. I just dropped a pen. Now that's lodged in the subconscious brain. Now there's a new neural pathway existing that tells me I'm a stupid idiot. It doesn't remember the pen, Monty. It remembers the stupid idiot part. And that gets lodged. And all that stuff is like a zip file on the computer. And sooner or later, you're going to click on that, and all this stuff is going to come forward, and you're not going to be able to handle it. And that's where the self-sabotaging comes from. We don't get the real things that we want in life.
Okay, so you're what I'm hearing you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, that even before we ever take now talking about the alcoholic here specifically, before we ever take the first drink, way into our youth, right, that something was developed, right, that happens in the alcoholic mind before they ever take a drink. Is that true?
Correct. We're born this way. You don't believe you're born with a self-sabotaging alcoholic brain, traces with your family. Mom and dad, trace sister and brother, trace cousin. There's alcoholism in the family.
And it can skip generations, right?
Oh, it can skip a generation to be real sneaky. So the younger brother, whose brother is dying from alcoholism, he could skip the next brother but hit the sister. There's something going on with the genes and the neural pathway sets up. My brother and sister don't suffer from alcoholism, Monty.
Right.
Neither does my dad. My mom's family does, going way back. So you can always trace it. The first thing I tell my patients is, hey, if you don't think I'm alcoholic, have you got alcoholism in the family? Well, uncle, stop. There's a good chance it might be passed down to you. Mm-hmm. And then we go through it. But yeah, definitely we're born this way. Now, I'm going to say something controversial here because that's what I do.
Indeed.
So you are born with the alcoholic brain. You are not born with a drug-addicted brain.
Gotcha.
Okay? Alcohol acts differently on the brain regarding addiction and distortion. So when you take your first drink, me and you know this, Monty, when I took my first drink at the age of 9, all bets are off.
Yes.
Right there and then.
Yes.
In fact, I go back sometimes and I talk to people, what was it like when you was 9 or 10, you took your first drink? This is what they tell me, Monty. Oh my God, it was horrible. Oh, I spat it out. I'm like, it was the best thing I ever did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My first drink was a in fact, I had watched my father come home, and I was adopted, and it was a close adoption, so I have no evidence of anything as far as my bloodline goes, other than knowing beyond knowing that there was alcoholism in my blood family. I just know there was. But I watched my dad come home from a very high stressful job, and he would pour himself a glass of Christian Brothers brandy. Mostly it was ice and water with just a touch of brandy to it, right? And he would sit there and he would sip on that thing, and very seldom would he ever finish it. But I noticed that that's how he was dealing with the stress of his day, because it would relax him. He'd sit there, read the paper, everything was fine. So one day when I was in middle school, junior high, I decided that I was going to, that looks like a solution for the kid that's getting picked on and beat up on the way home from school, the stuff that we go through. And I got into the Christian Brothers brandy in the liquor cabinet, and I immediately, unbeknownst to me at the time, immediately started acting out alcoholically. I poured a glass that was as big as a large coffee mug to the brim, and I downed it instantly. And what happened to me right then and there was I had found the promised land. I had that warm feeling. It tasted. People say, "Well, you didn't drink for the taste." To me, it tasted wonderful. And so what I did right after that, Dr. Kelly? I poured another one, and I downed that one. I was drinking alcoholically on my very first drink.
Yes, and that's the definition of alcoholic or not.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, Monty, but for me, everything's to the excess. I have to live in the biggest house in the area. I have to drive the most expensive car. When I go for a sandwich with me and my friend, I go, "Hey, what are you having?" "I'll just have a sandwich." I go, "Okay. What are you having, Rob?" "Give me 2 sandwiches, 2 bags of crisps. Give me 3 of them and 2 of those."
Right.
With everything that I do.
I know. I'm that way too. In fact, I'm looking on the menu, seeing how many ounces is this versus that. Not because I'm hungry.
Right. Exactly.
What's the most expensive one? That kind of stuff. So when this stuff, here's the thing that I always wonder about. And that's this obsession of the mind that happens when we're stone cold sober, right? My thinking is different than other people's. When I'm sober, is that a sign of alcoholism?
Well, it is, but let's get down to the pinpoint accuracy here. It's not about the alcohol, as me and you know.
Right.
And that's what people can't understand. "Oh, you're an alcoholic, you can't drink." No, it's not. Well, it's got a slight 1% of the 100% deal. It's about my head. I have a thinking problem, not a drinking problem. The drinking's a symptom. And people say, "What do you mean by that?" Let's say I had chicken pox. And you come to me, Monty, and go, "Hey, you got chicken pox, Dr. Robb." And I go, "Yep." "How do you know?"
Right.
"See the spots all over you. They're all over you." No. What you can see is the symptom.
The symptom.
Of the chicken pox.
Sure.
Yeah, I have an internal illness that you can't see, which can kill me in adult life. It's the same with the alcoholic. We look at the alcohol and blame the alcohol. It's got very little to do with that. So that distorted brain and remapped at childbirth with the gene of the predisposition that we talked about gives me the obsessive brain regarding a self-sabotaging move, and it's 9 out of 10 times going to be alcohol. Why? Because it's legal. Why? Because everyone else is drinking it with impunity. Why can't I drink? So what happens is my brain, now I'm going to get real technical now. This is also new science that I've been discovering, is the hypothalamus at the base of the brain. It tells normal people it's a fight or flight part of the brain. Okay, follow me along, guys. This will blow your mind.
Okay.
So it's a fight or flight part. So what it tells us to do, it tells us to run or stay. It tells us to drink water and eat food. That's exactly one of its jobs, along with the amygdala. So what does it tell the alcoholic? To drink alcohol. So you're already against your own brain trying to battle this. So the obsessive mind will tell us, we're going to get away with it this time. Nobody's going to know this time. I'm just going to have one drink. I mean, you look at my life. Remember when I told the story before when the children were taken off me ages 1 and 3 and I got them back. This is how insane this disease is if you're just listening and you don't know about the disease. I take them back. I put them in front of the TV. I walk into the kitchen and I say to myself, wouldn't one drink be cool just to celebrate the kids coming back? 3 days later, when the police kicked the door down because I was drunk all over the place and the children had been fed or changed diapers or nappies for 2 days, you know, is that insane? Well, of course it is, because my head told me with that compulsion and that obsession that this one drink will suffice. Now, you could have put me on a lie detector, Monty, and I would have passed that test by just saying I'm going to take this one because I have my kids in my custody and I've loved them more than life itself. And I was convinced, Monty, that one beer was going to be enough. In fact, I think there was only one beer in the refrigerator. So after several trips to the liquor store, buying these bottles of vodka, that's where it ended up for me. And that's when the authorities took my children off me, and I never saw them for 20-something years, because this is what it does. Yeah. You know, we need to understand this. You know, there's a difference between the Friday night drunk and the Friday night alcoholic. And
Absolutely.
I'll tell you which is which. The Friday night drunk needs to be locked up overnight. The Friday night alcoholic needs to be taken to treatment or hospital. And the quicker we start looking at this and identifying the alcoholic. In fact, I have a presentation that I did at Harvard some years ago, and there's 2 pictures. There's one of a nice woman in a business suit, and there's one of a vagrant tramp with a bottle in his hand. And I asked the question, which one's the alcoholic? And they all go for the guy with the long beard.
Sure.
And I say, actually, they both are. And there's gasps in the audience, because you can't tell by looking at someone if they've got a drink. Look at my life. It looks amazing from the outside, or it did. But inside it was internal dialogue, destruction.
Yeah. Where do you suppose this thing all started? I mean, okay, so I have a genetic disposition that's been passed on somewhere in my family, coupled with trauma that has happened in my life, and the combination of both of those, you know, we've got a problem. But where did it all start? I mean, do you think that alcoholism was developed originally by the first guy from alcohol abuse, and then it became alcoholism? Where did it all come from?
It had to have started by that, because remember, there are people with the alcoholic mind that never touch alcohol.
Yes.
Them are the guys that are running Apple and Google, and I don't mean this, they're CEOs, but the people like that, they're the ones that are brilliant. They're the ones that are the smartest people in the room, because they've never touched alcohol. They have the obsessive mind. They want to, you know, and there's alcoholism in the family, so you may have been warned, but that's why they are so brilliant at everything they do. And along comes the first alcohol drink, and we take it, and the chemicals with the alcohol and the chemicals in my brain is not a good match. And that's what it all started, in my opinion. I don't know that for a fact, but I would imagine that was the deal.
Can a person develop alcoholism from abuse, or is it always genetic?
for me, it's always genetic with a predisposition. Now, you can abuse alcohol and it looks real similar to alcoholism.
Yeah.
But, as we both know, given sufficient reason, most of the heavy drinkers or abusers can stop or moderate over a period of time. Now, I get that for a great book out there that I read, the first 164 pages.
Sure.
But it is so true. And I have to tell you as well, and it's the first time I said this on air, is after all the studying, colleges, universities, schools, everything I've done, it must be, I don't know how many years and years and years, 12, 15 years. The best piece of literature I've ever read is that 164 pages that we're referring to. It's as smart as they come. And I tell you, they talk about a psychic change. Now, when I first came in, I thought a psychic change was something spiritual. Like I went to see a psychic last week.
Right.
So it's a psychic change. It's
right.
But when we look at it, it comes from the old days where psychologists, psychiatrists of the mind, and a change. So it's just a change of mind.
Yeah.
That I didn't know that in the early days. And and 10 years ago, I'm sat at a conference in London, and the medical fraternity, come out with this new finding, and that was that we can redirect neural pathways. We called it neuroplasticity, and they were all excited about it. And I stood on stage, I kid you not, and held this book up in my hand until everybody was looking at me. And I explained that in 1938-39, when they were writing it, the doctor and the two guys referred to this as a psychic change. We can redevelop our mind. We can make things happen, or we can make not things happen. So when we recover from the disease, as I am a recovered alcoholic, then you have a choice what you do, whether you self-sabotage or you get out of self and help somebody, including yourself, and move through life working with other people. Because that, I found my forte. I'm lucky. I found my forte of working with people.
Amen. Amen. Dr. Kelly, we need to take a short break. When we come back, folks, don't go away. More with Dr. Robb Kelly, the addiction doctor, on this episode of the Robb Kelly Hour. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
You can do all things through Christ. He gives you strength. He gives you courage. So lift your eyes to the hope.
This is my fight song. Take back my life song.
Embrace the change. Feel the freedom. Recover your identity. Now is the time. This is the place. This is your fight song. This is Celebrate Recovery. To locate a Celebrate Recovery fellowship in your area, visit celebraterecovery.com.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for kids, teens, or young adults. It's just not.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals and volatile organic compounds into your body.
And nicotine, the same highly addictive substance found in regular cigarettes.
Nicotine can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
Affecting learning, memory, attention, and impulse control. And priming the brain for other addictions.
Vaping products also come in kid-friendly flavors that can make them appealing to youth.
And many kids also use other drugs, like marijuana, in vaping devices.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media,
many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping, because when you talk, they hear you.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
All right, welcome back to the show. You have tuned in to Take 12 Recovery Radio's The Robb Kelly Hour with the addiction doctor, Dr. Robb Kelly. And we've been talking about the alcoholic brain and what goes on there. And Dr. Kelly, so you and I, we both are advocates of and promoters of and truly believe that the alcoholic can recover and from alcoholism. I am a recovered alcoholic. You are a recovered alcoholic. Once recovered, can alcoholism return as far as the substance itself and the symptom?
Most definitely. So here's what happens. Them guys out there who go to 12-step meetings will know about a 24-hour time. 24 hours doesn't mean, hey, let's start again tomorrow and I hope we don't drink today. Fingers crossed. He's talking about the brain and the cycle that it goes through over a 24-hour period. So it's always going to be there. Self-damaging neural pathways do not go away. They're always there. So if the brain's against you already, how do we do that? We get a routine every single day that we follow to make sure that we're achieving things every single day and doing our daily stuff, working with other people. And what we have is and it goes back to the book. This is not my words. We have a daily reprieve. Now, I was interested in what a reprieve was, so I looked up the reprieve at Oxford English. And the reason why I use Oxford English, because a couple of guys out of AA that contributed to the book went to the Oxford group. The reason it was called the Oxford group is 9 out of the 10 guys went to Oxford University, same as me. So the words are from the Oxford English. So reprieve means a stay of execution. And I like that because it keeps me warned every single day that this can come back if I want to. Now, I ask people this all the time. What kills the alcoholic? And they go, alcohol. And I go, no. Resentment. I go, no. Selfishness kills us. So as long as we stay out of selfishness and do these things on a daily basis, they're going to finish. But hey, here's the deal. Some people get complacent, including me. Now, does alcoholism come on a Monday and go, hey, Rob, let's have a drink? No. It's a week or even a month before when my behavior changes. I start to get irritable, annoyed at people, short-tempered, and then all of a sudden I'm drinking at the bar, banging my hand on the counter going, how the hell did this just happen? Because people are not looking the week or a month before to see where your behavior's changed. So what happens is when my behavior changes, Monty, a month before I pick up the drink, I don't want to do certain stuff now. It becomes boring. It becomes like a pain in my backside, and I stop going to them stupid meetings, and I stop working with people because I'm so busy now. Now I've got my life back together. I'm too busy to work with them alcoholics now. And hey, thank you, God, but I'm good from now on. And then all of a sudden you relapse.
Man, you're singing my tune. As somebody that works in the field, I know, and of course you do, this is something that we got to be really careful about because as recovery coaches and CADCs and all that kind of stuff, we can mistake the work that we do for actually our own program, when in fact we need more than just our jobs. I mean, I'm the director of addiction education out at the Adult and Teen Challenge Center, but I cannot use that in place of my own recovery program. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's actually a couple of guys that come and have gone, hey, how many meetings you done? Did 5 this week. I said, good. You said you'd do 4. That little book says I only have to do 1, by the way, but you've done 4, so that's good. What were they? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, so you took a patient to an AA meeting? Really? And that's your work? That is not your work. That's your job. You know, keep quiet. Don't say anything. Just do your job. Yeah, we have to do it for ourselves. My 12-step work and my 12-step self is a million miles away from what I do professionally. And I have to keep the two separate. Because if I don't look after myself on my time with my relationship with God, then sooner or later I'm going to be useless and I can't help these guys anyway. So yes, there is a fine line there where we have to be very, very careful that we get our own time to do this deal when we're in the industry.
So you have spoken on this before. I think last month we touched on a little bit the difference between the alcoholic brain and the narcotic addict. But there is lots of similarities, but we miss the differences, don't we?
Yes, we do. And must remember that alcohol acts differently on the brain than drugs do. So, yeah, can you drink yourself to become an alcoholic? Nope. What? No, you can't. You just can't do it. It's there or it's not there. You know? Can I take enough drugs to become an addict? Of course you can.
Sure.
You know, so even though they both end up in the same realm, they're slightly different because when alcohol is entered the alcohol body, you are doomed. When drug enters the normal person's body, who has the addicted brain, they will continue until it becomes a habit, then until it becomes a problem, then until they lose everything. So there is a slight difference, although, and this is why AA, if I may speak about AA, separated the two, saying, hey, you know, this is AA, it's not for drugs, because I get that, I really do. So we've all come together, and the only requirement in any rooms I've gone to is a desire to stop drinking. If you've got a other problem, come and listen, and then you know, talk after with somebody and just enjoy our meetings, guys. But at the end of the day, you know, it's completely different.
Yeah. So let me play devil's advocate for a minute. If alcohol, the substance itself, the abuse of it, if that's the symptom, if the abuse of methamphetamine, for instance, for the addict is the symptom, right? If these are all symptoms and what we really are after is addressing the core issues, one of them being, I truly believe, is a separation from our Creator, and some of the core issues, the trauma and all this other stuff, then aren't we talking about the same solution regardless of the fellowship that you're in?
I would say so, definitely. Don't forget the alcoholic brain is distorted from birth, whereas the drug addict brain can be distorted from taking drugs. That's the definite. But yes, 100%, we're all on the same things. And if you sat at home for a second thinking, wow, how can I get sober? Listen, here's your requirements, end of story. Don't listen to anybody else. Don't listen to stories. Don't listen to sponsors who's been here for 50 years and never worked with anybody. Here's the deal. Get yourself to a great meeting. Get you somebody who's had the spiritual awakening and the psychic change. Therefore, their DNA has changed. Why is that important, Rob? The book says the same man will drink again. Get hold of that guy and get him to take you through the steps as quick as you can. We're not doing a step a month. We're doing the first 5 steps there and then, like the book says. And then it says, go home. So I'm going home, coming back the next day, and I'm finishing it. And we need to do this, and we need to do it aggressively. You know, somebody said the other day, Rob, why are you being so hard on yourself? I said, that's what the book says.
Book says that, yeah.
Always be hard on myself. And these are the things we don't see. So if you're suffering from alcoholism, get yourself to a meeting and find these guys. Believe me, I'm going to say something really controversial now, guys. The medical fraternity is still baffled with alcoholism. So go to the meeting, find one of these guys. You can see who's recovered when you walk into a room. He's the guy in the middle holding court. He's the guy laughing all the time. He's the guy making coffee and greeting you at the door. It's them guys. Don't sit with the guy in the corner with 50 years sobriety just in a crap mood and as miserable as hell. I don't want that recovery. I want the guy with a week and a half who's already recovered from the disease and working with 3 sponsees. That's the difference. You know, life as a recovered alcoholic is the best thing I know. Yeah. And after working with 6,500 alcoholics over the past 30 years, I can tell you, I've never seen a stupid alcoholic. All you do is you become an amazing person, you become a better father, you become a better husband or wife, and you take on life on life's terms, and you get stuff done. And that's what it's all about. Everybody needs a leader. Be that leader in that room. I've been in rooms, Monty, and, you know, there's no big books, first of all. And secondly, they're all in little clans. And little Johnny walks in the door and he's suffering from untreated alcoholism. Yeah. Does anybody go to him? No. Why? Because they're all scared of missing that little joke that they might miss or the inside. Are you kidding me? Bill and Bob were turning their grave if they saw AA today. No wonder the guy's on 3% success rate. Let's get it back. We have a solution. The solution. What does the solution mean? English Oxford Dictionary, the act of solving a problem. We have an act of solving the problem with this first 164 and great fellowship that we shouldn't be having a 3 and 4%. We should be having 100% like the guys in the early days, the guys that didn't mess around, the guys that told you how it was.
Yeah,
that's how we should be living.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, and it is controversial, and I don't think it should be. It should be the norm. But we've lost our way in so many instances. I like what Chris Schroeder says. One of the most downloaded circuit speakers on the internet or in the world today. Still, he did the Walking Through the Big Book series with us several years ago. We've got 34 one-hour workshops on that thing on our website. And the statement he made, which shook a lot of people, but he's absolutely right. He said, Alcoholics Anonymous, when you're in a group, when you're in a meeting, it should be about helping you develop a relationship with a power greater than yourself to help you solve your problem. And if they're not doing that, you're in a bad group.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the one of the most misquoted lines out of the book, and here lies the problem, or one of the problems in 12-step rooms right now. Well, I can choose a God of my own understanding. Never says that in the book.
No, it doesn't.
It says you can choose a God as you understood him,
yes,
with a capital H, and that God can be your own concept, but it has to be a God. There's 26,000 gods, guy. Just pick one. Why are we so afraid of that word? It's like, oh, well, I want to thank the group. Why are you thanking the group? No human power can relieve our alcoholism. Why are you thanking them?
I know.
Oh, well, God stands for good, orderly direction. How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Right.
With him relieving millions of alcoholics that should be locked away or how dare you say that? Oh, I'll use a door handle. I hope nobody opens that door because you're doomed. If they do, it has to be a power, capital P, greater than yourself. Is what it has to be.
Yeah.
And here we go, Monty. That will solve your
problem. Yep. And that means recovered.
And it does. And while we're on that, let's look at the word recovered and cured.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Recovered. To gain one's health and state of mind back in the Oxford English. So recover my health. Yeah. My body was sick. I'm allergic to that stuff. And state of mind. Yeah, I was crazy. Recovered, to gain one's health and state of mind. It's two different words.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever cured of this disease. Oh my God, Rob, what do you mean there's no cure for alcoholism? Calm down. There's no cure for food poisoning. There's no cure for the common cold. There's no cure for flu.
Right.
There's a bunch of diseases out there there's no cure for.
Yeah.
So spin it round.
Yeah.
Stop living in that doom that hey Rob, you shouldn't be doing that in a meeting. First of all, read the book.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Rob, you shouldn't be saying recovered in a meeting. Read the book.
Yeah.
27 times recovered, 17 times recover, twice recovering to the wives in the family. Read the friggin' book. Title page, Alcoholics Anonymous, big black words underneath. The story of how many thousands of men and women who have recovered. That's the word. We should be loud and proud when we're saying this. I went to my doctor's once and I had food poisoning. Oh, Monty, I was sick. I was absolutely sick. And I said to him, what's happening? He said, you have food poisoning. Take these pills, it'll clear you out, drink plenty of water, and in 4 to 5 days you will have recovered from food poisoning. And I said, is there any cure? He said, no, there's no cure for food poisoning. But listen, let me give you a few simple steps to make sure you never get food poisoning again. And he did. Watch your meat, watch the dates on the meat, never refreeze something that's already frozen, the usual stuff. Never had food poisoning since. Same with alcoholism. Follow them few simple steps. Get yourself a relationship with God. Not a knowledge, not a belief, a relationship.
Yep.
And a healthy relationship is a 50-50 deal. It's like any marriage. If it's 80-20, it ain't going to work, guys. Sooner or later, something's going to break. 50-50 relationship. And don't be scared of having that relationship, capital R, with your creator, capital C, to make sure all this shit is done. I teach a book study every Saturday morning. I walk in and go, who's did a step 10 last night? There's 50 people in the room and 3 people have done it. And I go, how are you guys staying sober?
Yeah.
Do you know something I don't know? This isn't McDonald's. You can't have it your own way. You either do it or you don't. There's no half measures. But people, this is what they do, Monty. They come into the rooms. They don't do as directed in the book. And they relapse and they wonder why.
Sure.
It might be a suggested program, but it's not a program of suggestions.
Right.
There's
over
100 miswords in that book. There's over 100 messages in that book. There's over 135 promises in that book. And there's over 350 God words in that book. Read it. And I'm telling you now, if you get somebody who knows what they're doing, taking you through that book and the steps, and you continue to do this on a daily basis, give me a call. And do you know what I'll do for you? I'll give you one of my $100,000 cars that you can drive away in. Because why do I do that? Because it's impossible. It's impossible. I hear it all the time. He goes, Rob, I was working my program and I relapsed. Stop. You can't do both.
Exactly.
You either work in your program or you relapse. You cannot do both. Yeah. It's an impossibility to relapse while you're working your program. Again, what kills us? Alcohol? No. Selfishness. Get out yourself, help somebody. Get out yourself, give back to the community. You should be like a lighthouse in your community. You shine so bright that anybody in the dark around you should be able to see you. And that's why the book says his attention should be drawn to you, someone who has recovered.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Why do you think it's alcoholic thinking that is what's behind this lack of willingness to actually follow the directions, open the book, and go by the procedures that is in that book? Because if you look at Akron, for instance, and you look at New York, you swear it's two different programs. If you look at the East Coast and you look at the West Coast, you'd swear it's two different programs. This watered down, wishy-washy, I want to do it my own way thing, is that part of the alcoholic brain screaming, I want to be in control?
Well, I'd say it is, but you have to remember who starts this stuff. You see, if I go into a room and I don't know any better, and this guy comes up and says, I'll sponsor you, what we're going to do, don't touch the book for at least a year, don't date for 3 years, wear pink socks on a Tuesday.
You're going to do that.
You can come with the rest of my 100 sponsees that I have that's been working with him for ages because he's freaking lonely. So that's where we start. Let's take it back a few years, so about 1950, when the treatment center was born. Let me think about that for a second. So we have a strong group. People are recovering. People having amazing lives. People are being family man. There's groups, there's gatherings. It's all family. There's children, there's wives, all that great stuff. And what happened was the treatment center was invented. And then what happened from there is they had nowhere to go after the 30-day treatment center. So they'd go, hey, go to this Alcoholics Anonymous thing. They'll sort you out. And what happened is we allowed them guys to come into our rooms and tell us how they felt. We allowed them to come in and tell war stories in the group. Mm-hmm. We allowed them to come in. And what happens to Alcoholics Anonymous? It buckled underneath the weight. Yeah. You even look at 90 and 90. Yo, do 90 and 90. Ask the guy once, why did he tell you sponsor that? Well, that's what the book says. That's not even an AA thing.
No, that's a treatment
That come from a judge in Akron.
Yeah.
He's going to send these drunks, instead of throwing them in jail, because the jails were getting pretty heavy, let's send them to this AA meeting thing that they've heard of. So you either read the book or you don't. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you now, I got to be careful what I say because I don't want to curse on the radio, but when a big book walks into a meeting, BS walks out.
Yeah, it sure does seem that way. It sure does seem that way.
Isn't it crazy that the people who carry big books and said they recovered gets chastised about it? Yeah. It's crazy. It's like me going to a math class with my math book, and I'm looking in my math book because I'm going in that class now, and it says 2 and 2 equals 4. So I go in the math class with my math book. Everyone laughs at me because I've got the book, because everyone should know what Alcoholics Anonymous is all about. And they tell me 2 and 2 equals 5. And I go, hey guys, but it says in the book it's 4. Don't believe everything you read in that book. We say it's 5 because our sponsor told us that his sponsor is this is the way we do it. And you can work your program out. Stop, will you? It's not my program. This was a God-given program from 1939. You either do it or shut up. You know, I don't mind people come in, Miles, who just want to stop drinking, who have a desire to stop. I love them guys, but do me a favor. If someone in the corner, little Johnny, is suffering from untreated alcoholism and ready to commit suicide because nobody knows what he's going through, shut up. You've got nothing to say. You've got nothing to say. Sit down, read the book, do the things it tells us to do. Not suggest, it tells us to do. Recover from the disease, be a proud recovered alcoholic, and then approach Johnny in the corner. Yeah. Because they don't want to hear about your war story. They don't want to hear you've been sober for 50 years and you're miserable. They don't want to hear that. The meeting should be a pep rally. You know, you should go in there and you should get recharged and come out and go, yeah, let's take on the world now. But what is it? It's a coffee meeting. It's a dating group. It's guys going there who are gay. It's guys going there who are lonely, the widowers. They all get together and they outnumber the real alcoholic who's recovered, and they sneer at them and they make jokes behind the back. And that's why we've got a 3% success rate right now.
And not to throw every treatment center under the bus, because there are ones that are doing it right. But you're right, because a lot of people that are in treatment, I mean, you don't have to be an alcoholic to get court ordered to treatment. All you have to do is get a DUI. Anybody can get a DUI, and so you're in treatment, and now you're not the real deal. A treatment sends you to AA, and then you start spouting from the brain and the thinking of a non-alcoholic, and that doesn't fit. But people believe you because they're inexperienced, and then these guys end up, if they stay long enough, they end up becoming sponsors. And teaching and handing down to the next guy what the next guy thinks is really the program, but it's not the program. And then everybody gets mad at him when he relapses.
Exactly. And I want to just clarify, thank you for reminding me, I know some amazing treatments out there. I know that we use a couple of treatment centers in Texas and a few in Florida. They are amazing. So I'm not casting everyone with one brush here.
Sure.
I'm just talking about the bad guys out there, but it's true. But who do you blame? Do you blame the guys for going in there and spouting off? No. Do you blame the treatment centers? Well, not really. Who do you blame? Let's go back the generations and find out where they went wrong. And it's when the guys sent treatment centers people into us. It's like people don't know when to shut up. And the other thing is, Monty, that we all go through in the 12-step rooms is we don't want to offend you. You know, we don't offend anybody. Hey, I got walking to a meeting once. This guy said, hey, Rob, little Johnny here. Oh, my God. He had a relapse he says it quiet as well. He had a relapse last night. You know, can you get him a cup of coffee? What? Johnny, I'm not getting you crap is what I'm not getting you. Why aren't you in the same program that got me to a different place?
Mm-hmm.
How many silver chips have you got? Oh, little Johnny. There, Johnny. There, yeah, good. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop flipping assisting guys to do this and sit them down and tell them that this disease is going to kill you. And if you think you're a better man, go back and Google such stuff. Who has died from this disease? The smartest, the toughest, the weakest. It doesn't make any difference. If you've got the alcoholic gene, you don't know nothing about it, it's going to kill you. Why don't we start telling these stories in meetings? That's what we're talking about. You see, I go to a meeting that I created, me and two guys, and it's full of recovered alcoholics. And other guys come there and they hear, when they go around the room, Johnny, recovered alcoholic, Billy, recovered alcoholic, Steve, recovered. And they go, what the hell's this? And then we start the meeting and it's electrifying. The shares are electrifying. And there's God in that room. And every single person that's come to us goes, oh my God, where have you been all my life?
Yeah.
So this is the way it's supposed to be. Yeah. And I apologize to you that you've had any other experience in the rooms.
Yeah. Amen. Preach it, brother. So you are extremely passionate about this, and I love it. I remember reading a comment from a show we did some time ago, and somebody said he sounds like he's angry, and I emailed the gentleman because I know him, and I said, well, yeah, he's angry. I said, when you think about how we're killing more people than alcoholism does by our false teaching, I would be angry too. But he's not angry at you. He's angry at what we've done. And I'm telling you, if we don't, addiction is the number, whether it's alcoholism or narcotics, it's the number one health crisis in our nation, but recovery from it gets the least amount of attention because of stigma. And part of that stigma is promoted by teaching the wrong thing, that you can just go to meetings, drink bad coffee, whine about your day, and you'll be okay. And then the person that believes that ends up dying. I would get sick. I'd get angry too, man.
And I tell you what, I'm angry with people. I'm angry with the people who share that watered down stuff. But listen, as an angry person, hell, I'm happy, joyous, and free. I have a freaking amazing life.
Right,
I'm the funniest guy you will know. But get me on the subject, and I'm going to tell you how it is. And if I get on, whenever I speak, if I go on and say, hey, you know something, if you keep drinking alcohol, it might kill you. Are you going to take notice of that? Are you going to take notice of this? Hey, buddy, if you keep drinking, you're dead. Okay, dead. They're going to take notice of the last one. That isn't so much anger, it's passion.
Sure,
I want everyone in the
it's
world
passion.
to go through the stuff that I've been through so they can recover and have a life that I've got right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And what makes it even worse, Monty, is if they just followed the direction in the book and followed all the suggestions from recovered alcoholics, we would change the world, one alcoholic at a time. Because happy, joyous, and free is where it needs to be. I often, people say, well, you can't be happy all of the time. Listen, I have better days than others. That's all I can say.
Sure.
But I'm happy. Of course I'm happy. Gee, my lifestyle is amazing. I get to meet with superior people. I get to meet with families that we repair and stuff like that. It's phenomenal. But I get excited and passionate and a little angry at the people that are teaching our program in an insufficient way. They're bringing into the book and the meetings stuff that are not true. You can choose a God of your own understanding. That is not true. Why are you saying that?
Yeah.
Why are you saying that? You know? Well, I could find a higher power. No. Why are you saying that? The book said it's vital. Vital means it's necessary to life. It's necessary to life that you find this power, capital P, greater than yourself. It's vital.
Yeah.
It's not like, well, if you want to, you can. No. If you come in the mean and you refuse to believe in God and do the work, if you're the real deal, you'll die. But if you are the real deal that needs help, and you go into one of these meetings where everyone's recovered alcoholic and everyone's sharing and smiling, and we bring families into ours. We have 2 playrooms. There's food there. It's like a family outing when you come. Al-anon's in one room, AA's in the other. Kids are playing in the playroom. Come on, that's AA for me.
Yeah. That's great stuff, my friend. That is really, really good stuff. I'm reminded of the chapter Working with Others. It says, remind the prospect. Who's the prospect? The new guy. Remind the prospect that his recovery is not dependent upon people, but on his relationship with God. Wow. Boy, share that in a meeting and see what happens, right?
Hey, listen, share page 11, second word, and see what happens.
I know.
Both of them are awesome.
I had a lady tell me, Monty, I remember you reading something out of the Bible in a meeting. I was highly offended by that. And I said, actually, I've never done that. I think you have me confused with the time that I read from page 11. She'd been in the meetings for over 20 years, and she did not even know that part of Bill's story.
I get that. I've won a lot of money, by the way. I've got to be honest, with old timers in meetings.
Yeah.
It mentions Jesus Christ in the big book, and there's 10s, there's 20s on the table. All betting, hard jokes, how serious. I walk away with it every single time, and they're stood there, old timers, like you said, with the mouth open, going, I have never seen that. You know why you've never seen it, guys? Because you didn't want to see it.
Yeah, you didn't read it. You didn't want to see it. Or if you read it, you read right over the top of it. Oh, my goodness. What's that?
You got to read the black bits.
Yes, you do. You definitely do. Listen, folks, Rob's website. Listen, if you're looking for some assistance, and let me tell you, this man can help you. I want you to visit robbkelly.com, the Robb Kelly Group. Check it out. Please check it out. You can also find Robb on Facebook. Just type in Dr. Robb Kelly on Facebook as well. And you can go to the links here at Take 12 Recovery Radio. Before we play our closing song, Dr. Kelly, you have expressed a lot of passion today. And you said it's not anger so much as it is passion, right? And you are a happy guy. You have serenity even when the happenings around you aren't going your way. You can still have serenity because you understand how to apply and implement these steps on a regular basis, right? So this closing song that I want to play is by a guy named Mike O'Brien. He's a new recovery recording artist, and the title of it is Might As Well Be Me. So I just wanted you to speak to this. If you're going to have a good day, it might as well be you, right?
Of course. I mean, listen, guys. When it gets sober and clean, to be miserable.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even tell you how powerful you are as a human being. I can't even begin. But I'll tell you something. If me and you, whoever you are listening to this, could swap places for 15 minutes and you could see you, there'd be no stopping you. You know, there's no limit on this recovery deal. There's no limit of how far you can push this. My friend always says this to me. We ask God for so little, and he wants to give us so much. So start asking, guys. Just give me the right thing. Start asking.
Yeah, amen. Dr. Robb, thank you so much for this month's show. We love you, brother.
Love you too, Monty, and stay tuned, guys, because next month, I can't even give you a teaser. It's going to blow your mind. So stick with Monty. He's the man. I love him to bits as a brother. I think he does a great job, and he's just one of my BFFs. Thanks, Monty.
You betcha. Thank you, Dr. Robb. All right. Our closing song for this show, like I said, is by Mike O'Brien. It is entitled Might As Well Be Me. Here's Mike.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot that could bring me down, but I'm not gonna go there. Today I wanna rise above. I could spend so much time in my head till I lose my mind, but I'm not gonna go there. Today I'll listen to my heart. Someone's gonna have a good day today. Might as well be me. Someone's gonna shine a light today. Might as well be me. Someone's gonna have a good day today. Might as well be me. Shine a light. Come on, let's shine. Won't you shine a light? Come on, let's shine. There's a lot going wrong. I could play you a sad, sad song, but I'm not gonna go there. Today I'll sing a brighter tune. Someone's gonna have a good day today. Might as well be me. Someone's gonna shine a light today. Might as well be me. Someone's gonna have a good day today. Might as well be me. Shine a light. Come on, let's shine. Won't you shine a light? Come on, let's shine. Someone's gonna have a good day today. Might as well be me. Someone's gonna have a good day today. Might as well be me.
The recovery sounds of Mr. Mike O'Brien. Visit his website at mikeobrien.com. All right. A very special thank you and statement of affirmation to our friend Dr. Robb Kelly. You rock, brother. We are so glad to have you on the Take 12 Recovery Radio team of broadcasters. You have been listening to the Robb Kelly Hour. And until next time, this is the Monty Man, and we are wishing God's perfect serenity for you.
This has been a broadcast of Take 12 Recovery Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
Kitty, 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 kitty. Meow, meow, meow.
Woof, woof.